Good afternoon, happy stampers. My name is Judy Anderson, and I'm an independent demonstrator from the United States. I'd like to welcome you to my happy stamping studio. I need to apologize that I'm a half hour late, actually a little bit more than that, but I had a class this morning and arrived home a little bit later than I expected to. So I want to apologize for the delay today. So I'd like to welcome all of you, my Facebook and my YouTube viewers, whether you're watching live or on replay. Welcome, welcome. Please say hello as you come on. And if you're watching on replay, just say replay. And don't forget to share this with your friends because I'm sure that they want to learn some things to do with this wonderful Splendid Day Suite. So yesterday I brought you a card that was inspired by a swap card that I received. And it was more of soft colors. Today we're going the complete opposite. We're going to fall colors. Colors like rich raspberry, blackberry bliss, crushed curry, mossy meadow. So let's see what we can do today. Let me flip you around. Okay. So once again, we are using the Splendid Thoughts or Splendid Day Suite out of our July to December mini catalog. This suite includes the stamp set bundle that's a stamp set and the dies. You can buy them, purchase them separately also. It has some designer series paper, which we are going to be using some today. And we went through them all yesterday. This is a specialty designer series paper that is foils on one side and then basic designer series paper on the other. And both sides are gorgeous. In fact, I couldn't decide if I wanted to use this Sahara sand here or if I wanted to use the copper. But I wanted to show you today a technique using the designer series paper and your blend. So I opted for this one. And I am going to also, I have not decided on my layers yet today. So I have two card bases, either Mossy Meadow or Rich Raspberry. And I was thinking of using Blackberry Bliss, but I think I want to show you how the Rich Raspberry coordinates with the Blackberry Bliss. I also have some very vanilla cardstock and some crushed curry because this is my color palette for my fall. I have the same color inks. I do have Rich Raspberry, Blackberry Bliss, crushed curry, and Mossy Meadow on deck to use today. So let us get started. So I am going to start with my designer series paper, and I've already cut these into 6 by 12 pieces from my paper share. I did have a paper share where you would get 6 by 12 of all the different designer series papers in the mini catalog. And also you could opt in on the ribbons and other items. And so I had some pieces left. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to use these. So I am going to cut this at 1.5 inches. Okay, I like leaving my paper in the full 12-inch length if I can. Okay, so let's decide if we are going to use Mossy Meadow or the Rich Raspberry. I am thinking I am going to use the Rich Raspberry as the base. So I need to score that at 4.25 inches. So I'm going to put that at the 4.25, lift up my cutting guide, move my cutting blade up here, and I'm going to score it with my scoring blade, just like that. So we scored it at 4.25 at half. So we're folding that in half and using our bone folder to crisp that fold. We want a nice crisp fold. Okay, so our next layer is going to be our Mossy Meadow, but I am not sure yet on the size. I do know I want to run this on here just like that. So I am going to cut it at the full 5.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to take that and 5.5 inches and just cut. Okay, you're going to notice this is a copper foil and it has some white bouquets in here. So I have grabbed my rich raspberry, yes, because we don't have, oh no, blackberry bliss, light and dark blends, and our mossy meadow. So we are going to color these. And you could choose to color this however you wanted. You could choose to leave some of them white, which I'm going to do. You could choose to color them all one color or use two colors. I'm going to use two colors today. So I want to use the dark mossy meadow, and I am using the brush tip. I know I never use the brush tip, but I'm going to lightly color and I want to get into these fine points. So I am going to color with the dark on one side of these leaves. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to color the other parts with the light mossy meadow. Okay, so I am choosing just to color these larger, more solid leaves. Okay, you could do what you want. You could, like I said, you could do all these fine leaves if you wanted. Okay, I didn't do these down here. Do those just like that. Now, this dark color may not show up on the camera. I'm going to tell you, this is already looking beautiful. Just going to do those leaves. If it's got some veining, I can go down there very lightly with your pen. Okay, you don't want to do it very heavily because it will bleed out onto the copper. And let's just color those like that. And go down here, let's get these. And it doesn't matter how you color them, they can be different from bouquet to bouquet. Okay, that's the glory of you deciding how you want it colored. Okay, I'm going to go down that one again. Just go up here. So I am deciding which side my shadow is on, and that's where I'm deciding to color these. Okay, I've got two more down here. Go ahead and color these in. Okay, so we're done with the dark. Now I'm going to take the light, and can you see that already? Look at that. You can see that on there. That's a good angle. Okay, now I'm going to color the other half of the leaves. And it's okay to, I'm going to have to use the other end because that side is all dried up. So let's use this side and color those leaves. This is very relaxing. So this is something that you could do when you're watching TV, sitting down having a cup of tea or coffee or a glass of wine. Just sit and color these however you want. And I know you guys know that you could color your um, designer series papers, but how many of you knew that you could color the foil papers? People often forget about the foils because they are shiny, and the Stampin' Write markers you can't use on a surface like this because it does not absorb the color. But our Stampin' Blends are an alcohol ink, so they will color on here and they will stay. They will not rub off onto your hands. Okay, get that one. Get this one. I should turn this around, but I'm doing okay so far. And just making sure that we get that colored. Once again, you can go over the dark side too. It'll blend in together. This is really looking beautiful. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to grab the Blackberry Bliss. I was hoping that we'd have some crushed curry blends, but we don't. So I'm going to show you that. So can you see the dark and the light there? And how that has colored on. Okay, so I'm taking the light Blackberry Bliss because I feel that the dark is going to be too dark, and I am going to color in these flowers. This takes just a very light touch, and as you can see, it's very quick to do. I may go over the inside. I have a feeling I'm going to go over the inside with the dark. So I'm just doing this outline, and this is just giving this foil paper some color besides the copper. It is gorgeous without coloring it, but I just wanted to show you this today because once again, many of you forget that you can color on the foil papers. And it's just a light touch with just a hint of color. Nothing solid. We're just doing those outlines. We only have a couple more to do. And when you do a small strip like this, it's not too overwhelming. You know, in fact, I would hate to color all these and have it on, a 4 by 5 1/4 piece layer and then cover it up. If I did that, I would have a tendency of only putting a sentiment on the front and maybe a sprig or two from the dies. Let's get this colored in real quick. And like I said, this is a very light touch with the tip of that pen. Okay, I'm going to grab the dark and I am going to color the center dark. There we go. And leaving just a hint of white. I'm going to color these right here, those centers dark also, the bottom, there where the petals are coming out. Okay, so can you see how gorgeous that is? I am going to leave the white once again. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. This is dry. See how it bleeds through the back. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I may not be using the crushed curry today because unless I color with crushed curry. We'll see. See how this turns out. Okay, so you've got that on there. So now I do want to stamp a couple images. I don't think I'm going to be die cutting today. I may put one on there, may surprise myself. So I'm going to use this stem here today. And I can do different colors by using this stem. So let me grab oh, here it is. Almost scared me. This stem. And I have a piece of berry vanilla. Now I know this paper has white listed, but I like the warmth of berry vanilla. I do have this cut 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I am probably going to cut this down, I'm thinking. So I am probably going to cut it down, like I said. So I am going to go ahead and position that. Let me get a block. Okay, I am going to stamp these in Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so we're just going to put this. This one's going to be in the middle, and it's going to be up higher. Just even pressure. And let's do, I'm going to, oh, sorry. Oh, this hasn't happened to me in quite a long time, right? I want to do a mask. So I am stamping this onto my Post-it note, and then we're going to cut that out. And I am going to cut out right along those leaves. And you're going to notice that I'm cutting off the outline, or pretty close to it. Okay. I'll leave a little bit of white or a little bit of pink around the stem. Let me cut off this excess here. And I'm cutting around the whole thing because I'm going to be masking it on both sides. So the reason why I cut it on the lines or inside the line a little bit is so that when I stamp over this, I don't have a little like halo going around it. This one I'm going to go right up there. It's okay that that's white there. Okay, and just continue around, making sure you move your paper and not your scissors. Let's cut that piece off. I could have cut this mask off ahead of time, but I didn't. And I forgot to start my phone. So if you did not give StreamYard permission to post your comment, I will not see your comments until till I get off. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask. If you're wondering why I'm doing something, I'm just going to cut this excess paper off. You know, this does have a die. I could have used but the die goes on the outside, so I'd still have to trim them when masking. Once again, I'm going down next to that stem because I do not want these to come apart because then I have to start figuring out what section they came off of. And this just makes it easier for me. Let's go right in here. Almost done. I'm going to cut this off. Because there's so much in and out on this one, that excess paper kind of gets in my way a little bit. Okay, let's trim this. Oh, what the heck? I could have just used this whole piece of paper and not have to mask, right? But this makes it interesting. It shows you how to cut around this. But like I said, if you don't mind a little bit of a halo around your images, you can use the die. Okay, so we're going to move this all off. I'm going to put this on here. And you're going to notice that all of a sudden you see those outlines, right? I'm going to position this on. I should have gotten our masking paper for this because it would have held down all the way down, not just at the top. Okay, so that one wants to keep moving. Well, I'm doing the left side first, so I'll just hold that down right now. And we're going to put this one over here. Okay, and this is over here pretty good. And I'm going to line this up down just a little bit because we're going to be using the pot. Okay, so we have that. We'll take off our mask. Now, spend time cutting this mask, so I want to put it back. So I keep it in the lid of my stamps. Okay, so now we have our colors here. I am going to watercolor this though. I want the watercolor look because I want to use my crushed curry and my rich raspberry. So rich raspberry is a little bit lighter. Remember we learned last week when I talked about watercoloring that you can watercolor on your water-based images. You just can't use a lot of water and you can't wash over them a lot. So I am just got a lot of water and I'm not worried about where this color is going. I could have used my watercolor paper and then I could have used a little bit more water on these, but we're going to use all of our colors. So now you need to pay attention to where your leaves are here. And I am just scribbling. I'm notorious for scribbling. That's one there. Okay, so we have our crushed curry. I'm also going to use a little bit of mossy meadow. So let's get into our blackberry bliss. I'm going to clean out my brush by pushing the water through until it comes out clear. I am not going to wipe it on my pants today because I am wearing white shorts and that would not be pretty. Okay, I'm going into my blackberry bliss and I want to make sure I have a lot of water in there. And once again, I am going to scribble. Okay. I need a little bit more water. It's not spreading as much as I want it to for that watercolor look. Now remember, we stamped this in Blackberry Bliss, so some of that color has already come off into our image. Okay. And this may be looking a little dull right now. Okay, I'm going to clean that brush out. Once again, getting all that color out till it drips clear. Taking my paper towel, wiping it off till it comes clear. And I'm going to go into my mossy meadow. Okay. And let's add some mossy meadow in these. Some may have green or some mossy meadow in them. Some may not. Some may have some blackberry bliss or rich raspberry. Some may not. It's just how the colors go. This one back here has mostly mossy meadow. Just depends on how the color bleeds or spreads out. I don't know. I keep saying bleeds out, and I think that sounds kind of gross. Okay, so there's our images right like that. Okay, so we've got those. I'm going to clean my brush out before I put it away so it doesn't contaminate the water in the barrel. Also, when you store your water painters, you want to store them upside down so the water does not sit. You should use distilled water or filtered water in there so you don't get any contaminants in there. Okay, we're going to reach over to our dies. And in our dies, we have this. To me, this reminds me of a planter. So I'm going to cut down our Very Vanilla to 3 inches wide. I think that's just wide enough. Oh, I see I got a little bit of ink here, and I don't have my ink eraser here, but the ink eraser should take that off. Okay, so I want to go into, I'm going to use my crushed curry. Let me see if I have a smaller piece here that will run through our mini machine without a problem. This piece is good. I'm just going to tear it down like that. Bring in our mini cut and emboss machine. I was not planning on using this today. In fact, I don't know what I was planning today. No, I knew what I was planning. It was just the fine details. I always have a plan. I don't have all the details worked out. Okay, love platform 1, platform 2, put on our die, just like that. Another platform 2, making sure that we've stair-stepped those so they don't go through the machine all at one time. And go ahead and run that through. Now, I don't want this just plain. Okay, so I am going to take that in my holder here. I am going to take my crushed curry ink and, ooh, I don't have my yellow brush here. I used it in class this morning and I didn't bring that stuff down. So let me grab this and I'm going to grab a sponge. I have a little piece of sponge here. Now this has like little dots on it. It does have some texture. I'm going to get some of that off and I just want to go ahead and sponge around that to give it a little bit of interest. So just sponging around those edges. Just like that. Okay, now you see here. Okay, this one will work. I was hoping I wouldn't have to take out my big machine. So I have this embossing folder, and it looks like it has a glue dot on it. We don't want that. And I think this is speckled, or so this is going to give this some texture. So I want it this way. So I want the bumps going up. Grab our machine again. Grab our platform number 1. And I believe I need the gray number 4 platform to emboss. And just run that right through. And that's going to give us some texture. Now, I could have waited to sponge this after it was textured. But look at that. Isn't that so cool looking? So that's going to add some more texture. Okay, so let's get this on. We're going to raise this up with dimensionals. Let's get these minis on here. And you know, either side actually would have worked embossing. Actually, right there, it reminds me of a globe. For some reason, it just got that look to it. Okay, let's put this right down here. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of sponging to the edge of this. Just going to add that around. Just like that. You know, when I was thinking of this card, I thought, oh, I wonder if I'm going to want to cut out some of the dies, some of the leaf dies, and put it out coming from the back, but I actually think that that would be too much. Now, this is great, just like this. It would be gorgeous, okay? Now, you can see little hints of that colored there, but I do want to add a strip of mossy meadow. And I am just going to make it a little bit longer than this one. So this one measures 3 3/4 inches. So I am going to go to 4 1/4. So it's a ½ inch longer. I think that will be enough. Just put it on the one side like that. Let's get some tape on here. This on like that. And get our adhesive on our mats so they don't go anywhere. Let's put that one right like that. I just love that copper. I wish I had some copper metallic. I have the rustic. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? I do. I've got some brush metallic dots. I didn't think I had those. I'm going to add some of those here. How cool would it be if I had a bunch of the small ones left? I could do like a row of rivets across the top of the vase there. Let's put that one there. So got those there. Now for the sentiment, you can add anything you want. I'm going to leave this one blank today because I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for, but this would be good for any occasion. So there is taking the splendid day into fall. Hey Janet, how are you? Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the card today. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you learned something new today. And until we meet again, everybody, happy stamping. Goodbye.